That's a blessing because, again, a lot of people get to be of age and still don't know who they are. So you want to be thankful and humble when you get his attention, you know what I'm saying? And be able to start talking to his kids, you know what I'm saying? His people. I promise you.
Now, what you're not going to do is have me crying on my own podcast.
Yay. I had an effect.
There comes a pivotal, life-altering moment when you must make a choice. Will you choose the light or will you choose the darkness? You see, with darkness, it's simple. Torture for all of eternity. And the light brings eternal rest and peace and joy. Until we get to experience the wholeness of heaven, we endure some broken seasons and fragmented moments in this earthly life. The wise choice of the light informs us that with God, His powerful Spirit, and the cleansing blood of Jesus Christ, our mending is already done. So you ain't gotta be broke, and you may freely take your dominion as an image bearer. Welcome to You Ain't Gotta Be Broke. I'm your host, Alesha, and I am here with Miss Dowdy and Raphael, who we're gonna call Raph in this. Hey. Welcome.
Hello.
Here, I'm gonna put this here for you.
Okay.
And you can, yep. So you don't have to move. So let me tell y'all how I met Miss Dowdy first. I've been sort of in this building up this podcast, and I was trying to figure out who I was going to have on. And so I went to the mall to get my eyebrows done because I didn't know what else to do with myself. And as I was walking out, I heard a woman saying, do you need a part-time job? Do you need a part-time job? Do you? And so she got to me and I was like, nah, but what you got going on? Because I was going to consider it because I work in the film industry. Right now I'm not working on anything, but you got to kind of be part-time, full-time.
Right.
And I wasn't able to make the commitment. So then because I'm so nosy, I'm like, well, what's going on, child? And she explained to me that you need drivers.
Correct.
Have you gotten any, by the way?
So I've gotten 2 references.
Okay.
And I did get 2 response. So I got a total of 4 people so far.
Okay, good.
They haven't had an interview yet, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But the more the merrier. So please fill out an application.
Absolutely. Where can people fill out an application?
So you can go to Indeed and look for Strides Horse Park, and they have our job descriptions and requisitions there.
Okay. So she explained to me that they needed drivers.
Yes. And job coaches.
Uh-oh. Here. Sorry. I'm going to put your phone on side. Oh, wait. I don't know how to use no Android, child.
That's it. Just off.
But needed drivers to help transport. Explain exactly, because I don't want to say the wrong stuff.
Transport. So we need drivers to transport people with disabilities to and from our facility. And it's an adult day center. Okay. That we actually have in Douglasville off Highway 5. You can use your own vehicle. Right. We try to keep people near their home areas. So if you're living in Fayetteville, if you're in Marietta, if you're in Douglas, Carrollton, Conyers, or DeKalb County, our clients that are in those areas, those are the clients that you will transport to our facility.
Okay, yes. And so I was open and willing to do it because I thought it was a wonderful thing that the organization was doing, but I wasn't able to commit to the time. But then I said, well, you want to be on my podcast? Because, this is a podcast about dominion, according to Genesis 1, verse 26, where God tells us that we, in part, that we have dominion. Amen. So, that's what kind of, and at first I thought she was going to ghost me. I'll be very honest.
Did you? I'm sorry. I didn't want you to have that impression. I thought I was impressed. I was like, wow, okay. Because this will have only been my second time doing a podcast.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Well,
I'm so happy that you came, as well as Raph, who is watching. I was working out this morning, so he's watching some YouTube workout shows. How are you today, Raph?
I've been great.
You've been great. Baby, he iced out, honey. He got his chain on. He got on his nice fit. He said he been working out today. And he getting his muscle.
That's right.
Yeah, got a fresh haircut and everything that your dad did for you.
Yep.
He did a fantastic job. And he loves Jersey Mike's, so they've already eaten. So thankfully, I ain't have to cook because I'm on a meal plan right now.
Oh, nice. That would have just threw your meal off.
Yes, exactly. Also, so I have a little bit of a script, but I normally don't. I normally have little points, but she gonna make me stay on script. So
Please.
We're gonna plead the blood of Jesus over it.
Stay with the script. I hate to be flipping through pages or anything. Just want to sound clear.
Yes, you will. So first, you are from Chicago.
I am, as you see me rocking my gear.
Oh, look at you. I didn't even notice.
I mean, I do have like little pieces in my closet, and when my family members see me, they be like, where you get that?
I know.
I'm all over, but when I see it in stores, I'm automatically going right to it. So,
yeah.
I am from Chicago.
And how long have you been in Atlanta or in Georgia?
I've been in Atlanta since I was about 13. We came here. So, and I'm 52.
Oh, nice.
So,
all right,
I've been here a minute.
Look at you.
And we went back and forth because my mom really didn't care for the South.
Okay.
So,
which is understandable.
It's not from her being from the South. That's what I don't understand.
Well, where is she from?
Alabama, but she wasn't raised there. She grew up there slightly when she was around 5 or so. Her mom then migrated to Chicago.
Yeah.
My grandfather just felt like the South was just too oversaturated with his family members. He was dating his cousins. He was like, I got to go.
Somebody get on out of here.
Right. He was like, I'm out. And he was like, I'll never come back to the South again but to die. And we was like, that's kind of harsh.
Yeah.
But he did it.
Oh, your dad died?
My grandfather passed.
Your grandfather passed.
He was like my dad. And so he basically came, was forced here because everybody started coming back to the South.
Right.
So 2 of my older aunts, which is my mom's sisters, they came first. And then my mom eventually came because my dad kept saying, hey, raise them in the South. Yeah. They'll have more of a home field. They're going to be rough if you keep them raised in Chicago. So then my mom was like, no, I'm going back to Chicago. So he was like, this is ridiculous, So eventually she came here anyway, and my grandfather could not stay in Chicago alone anymore because his vision, he was going blind. Yeah. And he just was mortified. So when he did come, he stayed a year and passed.
He said, well, I told you what I was going to do, and I did it.
Yeah.
He's a man of his word till the day he died. Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah, no, I understand because I'm from Greenwood, Mississippi.
Okay.
And I have a lot of family in my great family. So like my great aunts, great uncle, all of them and some cousins. Okay. They're all up in Chicago. I think they're maybe north Chicago. I don't know what part. I was actually, I visited her last year. But it was sort of the same thing. They wanted better opportunity.
Absolutely.
I believe that my great grandmother, she took some of the children up there with her, and then some stayed in Lexington, Mississippi, where they grew up. Correct. In the hills is what it's called. And but they still come down and visit and stuff, and it's nice to get to go up there. But in Greenwood, child, they were still lynching folks back then. Wow. So they had to get on up out of here. But I do love how they were able to just sort of create their own way and create their own path, and I think
that's what the whole initiative was when my grandfather moved to Chicago, was to kind of get better opportunities.
Right.
There were no jobs at the time during the 30s.
Oh, wow.
So he basically felt like that he had a better chance on just leaving, Tuskegee, Alabama, and just migrating to Chicago for, just a new life, and bumped into my grandmother.
Oh, in Chicago. History. He met her there.
Yeah, and she's originally from Arkansas. She never really knew her family because when she was growing up, I think her dad died when she was 3.
Oh, okay.
And she was born in 1921, so he died when she was 3. And then her mom got sick.
Okay.
And then she died, and she grew up with her cousin, who I want to say he's so much older than she was, that she called him his uncle.
Okay.
So we called him Uncle Arthur.
Yeah,
that's all I knew. They don't have names like Arthur no more. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, that's the only uncle we ever knew she had. And then she knew my granddaddy's family,
right.
You know, his sisters and family. So my grandfather was so much older than my grandmother. That it was kind of like he was raising her too with his siblings, and then they married, had kids and married.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So did you ever consider taking Raph, because you also have a daughter?
I do.
Her name is Raven.
Yes.
Did you ever consider taking them back up north, or you loved it here?
So no and yes.
Okay.
So no, I wasn't gonna take them back up north to live because I felt like they were too southern. They were too much. I call it fluffy. They just too.
They needed that grunginess.
Right. So I mean, and that's not a bad thing. I hate to sound like up north you got to come with this rough side, but you do
hustle.
have to be. They don't have that quality.
Okay.
I think they took on my ex-husband's quality, which was this real wholesome, happy, everybody get along and keep your door open type of mentality.
Yeah.
And I just worried for them. So that for that reason, that's why I never push the narrative for them to live in Chicago, or I never wanted to go back and raise my kids there. And then here, I felt like this is something I think that only if you're born in a particular environment will you be able to soar.
Okay.
So I feel like they would soar much more here with family and friends that they have established since their youth.
That's true.
And they can just go and just see where mom's from and kind of get a better understanding on what my culture looked like when I was growing up.
Yeah.
So and I think they learned it because we went to the Taste of Chicago and they loved it.
Oh, I never heard of this.
Oh wow!
What is Taste of Chicago?
So it's where a lot of different jazz bands and old school music is. Like the year I went, it's been a minute, but I think me, Raven, and Rap went, and Raphael, he kind of was taken back by the foods and the all the arts and stuff that was out there. But my daughter loved jazz; she loved music. So I want to say. What is her name? That's terrible because I know her. I can see her face. Mary J.
Oh.
That's my favorite artist. I don't know why I was even contemplating or thinking. But Mary J. Blige was there, and it was just the best day ever.
Is she from there?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Mary J. I think she's from north, like
so it's
New
sort
York
of like a festival
Brooklyn.
type
Yes,
thing.
it's definitely a festival.
Okay.
And it's the who's who, and it's near the ocean. You know what I'm saying? It was like Michigan, rather, not the ocean.
Yeah.
But so a lot of people come out. I'm talking about it's a 3-day event. People from all over come and populate.
Yeah, no, first of all, I need to figure out what it is because I keep telling my great aunt I'm coming back. But I keep being so busy.
It's in the fall.
In the fall? Oh,
I used to think it was around October, but it's between June and October.
Okay.
Check it out. And it's when I say it's a lot of fun, you don't use money. You use tickets to buy things. So when you go, just know you gotta cash your you gotta change your cash into tickets. And then everywhere you go, you have to give them so many tickets.
Wow,
for a
almost
meal.
like Chuck E. Cheese.
Yes, child, but it's a lot better. Much better.
No, I understand raising them here. When I first went up north, I visited besides Chicago when I was really little, but like as a teenager, I went to visit one of my aunts on my dad's side in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
And we actually my friend and I, we volunteered at this children's summer camp. And I think it's actually much like what you have, but they're just really young.
Okay.
And some of the kids, some of them had parents and stuff, and some of them didn't. Some were in foster care and all kinds of situations. And so for me, these kids were like elementary school or younger. And that was so disheartening because I couldn't imagine, like, I'm seeing children get themselves on buses by themselves. And I'm like, at that time turning 17, and my friend and I, she was a year older. We're asking people, like, what do? We don't know what to do with this because where I come from in Mississippi, we didn't ride public transportation. And so then working with those kids, I mean, we were up in there boo-hooing because you could just, they had nobody. and they were like fending for themselves. There was this one little boy. He was like 5 or 6. He was real rough. This little boy could have beat me up. Okay. And I told him to do something. I don't remember. Maybe tie his shoe, something simple. You ain't my mother. I was like, you're right. I'm not your mama. I'm not your mama.
And I'm going to back up now. Yeah, that's what I meant by not having that. That survival type thing.
No.
But back up off me, player.
Yeah, no, I didn't have it.
Right.
And he let me know real quick at 5.
Yes.
I mean, he was a little thing. But I appreciate growing up in the South because we do have so much room to grow and we don't have to grow up too fast.
Right.
I do believe that we're still ambitious people, but we have a little bit more patience.
You do.
And we have a different perspective. Like, I'm not going through life feeling like I have to hustle, although there's still just the American way in us that we do. But I appreciate, and I would love to to raise my children here in the South or out of the country because it's getting a hot mess.
It's a really good home style type of feel.
Yeah.
Make you feel like you're having a just a community involvement is still there. Up north, it's more like, every man for himself, and it's like you finish. But you got some neighborhoods that do have that connection, but you would have had to been there from ground zero to now. You just can't come in their neighborhood, and they know you there.
Yeah, exactly. Yes,
so
they do.
it's not like back in the day where everybody kind of looked after one another. Not sure how they are now, but being that I have migrated here at such an early age, I kind of picked up the culture here and learned how to vacillate with both.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so Mr. Raph.
Yes.
So you said you're doing good today, huh?
Yes.
How has it been growing up here were y'all in Atlanta or Douglasville, or can we just say it all the same?
DeKalb. So
DeKalb
in Atlanta.
Okay. How has it been for you growing up here?
It's been great. Huh? Yeah. Well, I spent years when I was do something like pick out the clients. I was a driver. I was a great manager.
Oh wow! I saw you. Yeah, you drove your mom here today. So, Mr. Raph is with your organization. You work with adults.
I do.
Who are autistic or various?
It's a gamut of disabilities. So we just say differing disabilities because it's not just autism. It's they have disabilities, but some of them are mental health, but some of them have Down syndrome. Some of them have I can't even think of.
It's okay. No, it's okay.
But they don't always just have a developmental delayed disability. Some of them have mental health challenges.
Okay.
So they may have already gotten out of high school and wasn't diagnosed until after high school. So that's the mental health, which is schizophrenia can come or be developed at an adult age. It usually develops in adults when they're past 18 boys. Okay. And I think a little older for girls.
Okay.
Is what I was told.
Okay. So because I don't know much about this world, so I just want people to know that you all started this organization because Raph is autistic.
Correct.
And Raph, you wanted to start this organization. It was your idea?
Yes.
Yeah. Why? Why did you want to start an organization like this?
I want to help people be better for themselves. Life.
Yeah.
And life.
Yeah.
And life.
That's good. Because you are I guess you would be considered highly functioning.
Oh yeah. So high functioning is for lack of a better term, he is more independent. In his life, in his life skills. So, and that's something that had to be cultivated at an early age. So, just like everybody else, you know what I'm saying, or they call regular ed population. Okay, everybody had to be taught. You know what I'm saying, how to take care of themselves. Right. So with Raphael, it was just probably a 6-month delay in the difference between a child of let's say a 5-year-old that's supposed to be doing something at his age, his or her age time frame. I think he learned probably 5 years, 6 months.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So he was just delayed with autism because of that spectrum.
Yeah.
It's like you don't know how to educate. So you're kind of like grasping at just various things to see what will work.
Okay.
And then as they respond to it, that's how you know it worked. But that's in the average person.
Right. How old was he when he
Found out?
Yeah.
So with Rob, he was, I do have it right here, by the way. I just don't like to mess up. But he was about, me and Ronnie was talking about it earlier. He's about
Rodney is his dad. Okay.
He's about 2 to 3 when I observed he wasn't kind of doing some of the similar things one of our mutual friends' son was doing. And we both had our kids at the same time, just probably a month apart. And she would say stuff like, oh, my son told me, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I'm real literal at times. So I was like, did he physically say this or, you know, that he wanted X, Y, and Z? Or are you just, you know, reading between the lines? She was like, no, he physically said it.
Yeah.
And I kept saying, yeah, right. So I blew it off thinking, you know, my son is highly active. He was very regular child. You know what I'm saying? Very normal growth, and he didn't have anything causing him not to be a healthy kid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he jumped in and did normal, regular, routine stuff a kid his age would do, except speak.
Okay.
So it was more pointing.
Okay.
He did a lot of pointings. And that was between 2 and 3. And he had so much energy.
Yeah.
That I didn't care. I think I didn't pay attention to him talking. So I kind of didn't care.
He's been trying to get these muscles since then.
He was galloping.
Yeah.
Like a horse.
Wow.
From when he was so good at doing it, Alesha, until Raphael, when he got in kindergarten and they started doing Special Olympics, they started involving him in Special Olympics. Raphael out jumped the 3rd graders and he's a gold medalist. He has a gold medal for out jumping the 3rd graders because he had been hopping on his legs for so many years. Yeah. He had the strength. And then he did the jump, you know, to run and do the little jump.
Yeah.
He out jumped
like the almost, what is that? It's not pole vaulting, but you like in that sand pit
that
thing.
Leaping.
Yeah, whatever that is. What? That's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
I love how confident you are. So when is your birthday?
30. It's June 27.
Mine is June 1st.
Nice.
So you're going to be 31?
Yeah.
I'll be 31 too. We're the same age. I'm a few days older.
Same like age.
Yeah.
Just like we're taller.
Okay. Taller.
So, I have a question. So growing up in the South, you know, we have faith and all of that.
Amen.
How has your faith helped you to shape, because he's your first child, right?
He is.
So I imagine you just knew you were going to have a son. You're thinking that everything's going to be normal, the way, according to society standards of normal. How has your faith helped you, I guess, cultivate this life with him and your daughter? Do you understand?
So I do. Okay. So it's like 2 parts for me. My motivation has always been established through Raphael. So to open up this nonprofit agency for people with disabilities and to just stop pursuing my law degree, it was the act of God, because I was not thinking more so forward. I was just I was being me. You know, I was just trying to just be a better parent and helping my son, and his aspirations would fuel mine unknowingly.
Yeah.
But when Raphael told me he at about 15 or 16, I helped him get a job at McDonald's. He wanted a job. And I felt like that was around the age everybody else was getting jobs. And I didn't want my son to feel like, you know, well, what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
You know, why don't I have a job?
Right.
So, and he was a black boy and in the South. And I just was like, listen, the one thing I can't do is cripple you. So I'm going to treat you just like I do your sister and I would do anybody else. So my motivation was just to see how far he can go with it and then be that support wherever that was and not cripple him. And what I did was I asked him what he would like to do. And Raphael would say he wanted to help people like him. get their dream job and live their dream life.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so my personal journey as a parent with a son with autism had minor challenges that I faced, but it inspired me to create a better platform and a safe space, I guess, for people that have differing abilities, and to offer some support, some real support and resources and some opportunities. You know, oftentimes we hire people with disabilities, so some opportunities for the individuals with disabilities to thrive and succeed.
Right.
And my faith, how did it gravitate to that?
Yeah.
God is just my guiding light. I mean, I just can't say he illuminates every step that I make. I'm not trying to sound cliche or deep or, you know, just clear. My journey is not, to me, is not clear cut, because it just looks like I be freestyling. Because I be like, Lord, you know, I'm saved by grace. I am subject to be wicked. You know what I'm saying? Why you chose me? But he knows what's in you before you do. Right?
And I feel like even with law, so what were you going to study or practice as a lawyer?
How about as a lawyer, I was going to help disadvantaged children. I don't know. That's amazing. I wouldn't have never thought about it until you just mentioned it. But I was going to help disadvantaged kids like myself that grew up impoverished and with lack of opportunities to start having that type of support. So my ultimate career was to be a judge.
Wow.
So I was literally in law school. So I was trying to, you know, do a dual major until I found out that my son, his need was not more than mine, but I felt like I wanted to, as a parent, I just wanted to see his dreams and him be successful in whatever that looked like. I jumped on top of it.
So you were still married at the time?
So at the time, yes, I was married. No, I wasn't. I was divorced. I think we got separated when Rap was 11.
Oh, okay.
And then we were divorced when he was 16. So 16. So yeah, I kind of was in a balance of marriage and.
But you still had support. Like, did you have family support?
Oh, absolutely.
What about? So let me ask you this: in school, how was that? I know it's not on the script, but it's okay. Okay, listen.
No, I'm looking. What page is she on? She better not do that freestyling.
No, I'm not. I promise. I really think you're gonna have the answer.
Okay.
Were they supportive in school, or, for instance, I know when I was still in grade school, all of the children who were different just had to go to special ed.
Right.
But all they would have them sometimes in there doing is just sitting or watching TV or something like that. But there was no one, and then it wouldn't even be if they were full-time teachers. I don't know how specialized they were in the stuff that they were teaching, but it was like the 9th graders are in there with the 12th graders. So did you have the support from the school system?
Oh, absolutely. It was actually it is actually a curriculum that is facilitated. And it may appear to the untrained eyes that it just looks like they're doing nothing. They're just sitting around doing anything. Okay. They have an IEP, which is a report that special education teachers have to go and get almost like a master's, not unlike regular ed teachers. They go and get education and then they get their certificates. But a person that actually works with special ed students have to get extra education to be able to train, you know, or teach.
Yeah.
So with that, they not only have diverse ways of educating their students, but you have to meet them in certain arenas where they are. Okay. So sometimes videos and constant repetition of a thing helps their individuals, and they can only have a small caseload inside of their classrooms so that they can do individualized support, because each one of their IEPs, which is an educational goals, you know what I'm saying, and their spectrums or where they are at this time and age, then they have to actually document that. So each person is different. That's why you see a para. You have to have a special education teacher and sometimes 2 paras in the room. Para? A para is an additional teacher in the room with a group of students with special needs, however severe they are, or they call most significant, is someone who needs a lot of one-on-one time. And as opposed to the general special ed class, when they can be independent with instructions, but instructions that maybe give them 2 instructions, some cues, and some prompting, to get them to complete a task. But as far as the severe, they would jump, clap, run. So oftentimes you have to have another person in the room to assist to be able to manage and maintain that individual so that he or she can have a successful day. So technically, did I get any support? It was by law that they gave us the support. Because you still have to teach them. You still have to educate them. They still have to do math, reading, English, writing. And if you don't have the capabilities to do it independently as a person with a disability, then by law, the funding that goes into public schools have the funding to get that person that need, such as handwriting. They will have, Raphael had a handwriting specialist. He had a speech therapist. And that stuff at the time, they were $150 an hour. So the average person...
And that is government funded.
It is government funded. You do not have to pay for it if you're in public school. But if you, unfortunately, our parents are not as well-versed or understand the resources. So they think, well, maybe if I go to a private school, my child, he or she will get the better education, when really they will lose the support that they need funding unless you are able to finance this journey with your kid. And a lot of us, the average mom, dad have $50,000, maybe $70,000 job, you will be broke trying to do this independently. But the state have funding for kids with special needs, and it's inside of public schools, so they're able to get their needs met.
That's fantastic. Did you enjoy school when you were still in school?
Yes.
That's good. High school, middle school, or elementary? What was your favorite?
Let's just say I love high school.
High school was fun for me too. Because did you go to prom, the dances?
Last years ago.
He did go to prom. He went to prom with a top hat. He had on all black. My thing was Biggie. I loved Biggie Smalls.
So you like the real music.
They were, and see, Biggie ain't even from out west, but his swag was all that for me. It was everything.
I can picture that in one of his videos.
So I'm gonna take a picture of a magazine article that I had wrapped in, but it was a poster that I had created, right? And took it to Kinko's and had it, and it was like our vision board, because they kept saying at church, have a vision board. So we had one, and everything that we have on his little magazine has come to pass. What? It is amazing. I'm gonna take a picture of it when I get home, and I'm gonna send it to you.
That.
And what he had on was what he went to prom with, and he went in a stretch limo. His teachers was like, here come rap. And all I could think of is Biggie Smalls theme,
my Lord.
He had the top hat, he had the tails, it was all black and red, and then he had a cane. He walked in and he had gloves.
Not a pimp stick.
Yep, he was ready for him, honey.
Yeah.
And initially, a lot of the students weren't, they weren't going. His class was not going. And I said, please tell me why. And they was like, they don't usually involve our students. I said, I will go to wherever you need me to go.
Yes.
Whether it's the school board or to the principal, and let them know my son would like to go to prom.
I love you so much.
So the teachers used to always egg me. Tell Miss Foucher, she'll get it done. At the time, my name was Foucher, and they was like, let her know, I promise you, she'll get it done. And then I was like, y'all try to make me be the bully, but if it had something to do with my son not being able to participate, just because nobody asked them, I had a problem with that. So, I went up there and all the kids went out. Parents were now made aware. Parents took their kids. Raphael was going with this Asian girl to prom. I cannot think of her name. Oh my God. But her parents wanted her to attend. And so it turned into night. The only thing is parents couldn't be a chaperone. And I was mortified.
Why?
They wouldn't let us. And he was at the W. At downtown Atlanta, they had their prom at the W.
Did you dance?
He is not a dancer. Rob, you are such not a dancer.
Yeah, well, I'm not a good dancer.
They say he stood on the floor and he just tapped his foot. That's his dancing.
That's good.
He was tapping his foot.
That's good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
See, I don't know. Were parents allowed? I feel like there were a few parents, but mostly teachers were chaperones.
The teacher.
Child, we probably needed some parents.
Right. I tried. I almost stood outside with tears. I went and I couldn't go in though.
You stayed outside.
I was going to, sad to say, but no, I left. I went on home with my tears in my eyes. But I left because I wanted to be there so bad. But I wanted to take a picture of his prom date. So I took a picture outside the W. And just like every proud mom, I did all the, I made him know that I was present, that I was here and I was rooting for him and happy for him. And they said he had a ball. Everybody danced with him.
I bet. Yeah, I can tell he is the man, honey. I can tell.
I'm telling you, Raphael made friends in places that I just was like, how do they know Rap?
Right.
They were wrestlers and football players. And I mean, they knew Ray was like, what's up, Rap?
Yeah.
And I used to be like, does he know? He was like, oh, they're my friends.
Oh.
Okay. But it was mainly because of the support that the school provides.
He's cracking me up right now.
They knew that I wouldn't take nothing less for him having that diverse relationship. So by law, because they're not the only people in the world, so you have to diversify them and they have to mix with regular ed groups.
Yeah.
So during arts and crafts or art time and gym, that's why you see them populated in those areas.
Okay.
But if they're in the educational piece, sometimes it's a distraction.
Yeah.
If kids, how we can be, regular ed students can be
distracted.
They clap and they be giggling and that throws a person with disability. But with Rap, he had a proxy. A proxy is someone that sat in the room because he had to still take standardized testing. And Rap would only be shy of it. Maybe, let's say he'll make a 73 or he'll make a 65. So he was just shy of some of the regular ed, testing.
Yeah.
So to say that they are not supposed to be in a regular ed class, they did it just by standardized tests. Okay. But if you were to educate them in a small setting to where they will be able to understand at their level and then take the test, they're more successful.
Okay.
So that's why you saw some kids with anxiety still in special ed classes because that's the only way that they can cope and mainstream into the regular education arena and be successful.
Okay.
So that's the difference.
You learning me something because I did not know. So you mentioned in our pre-interview call that autism can be self-inflicted.
So if I did,
but also earlier you said about schizophrenia. But would that be self-inflicted or that's just diagnosed in adulthood?
So it's not. So autism is not self-inflicted. Okay. It's a neurodevelopmental condition.
Okay.
And that individual is just basically born with it that has some type of genetic basis. Yeah. But it's not a person that can cause this or it's chosen. You know what I'm saying? This is something that's hereditary or, just part of their like I said, neurodevelopmental condition. You know what I'm saying? But that's the basis of it.
Do you, and this can be yes or no, do you know of any other people in your family or?
Unfortunately, yes.
Really?
I did not know this though as a kid because nobody told us. And when we were growing up, they were always separated.
Yeah, they
never migrated them with the family.
Yeah.
I think because what parents don't realize that they overcompensate in areas that they feel like they're not sure of. And to help my child, I'm just going to do more than even what they really need. Okay. So it's not an ask. It's just something that they're just training themselves to do. Okay. So the kid doesn't know whether or not they can or can't do something because they were not asked. Yeah. And I say that it's why family members don't know how to be supportive until they become adult age, and then maturity has to kick in on teaching them how to be patient and passive and respectful and supportive of someone who may or may not understand, what their needs are. Yeah. And you feel that through. I have a cousin that was younger than I was, and girl, I can't even tell you his name. That's a shame. He was younger than me, but it was my cousin's Tasha's brother, and which is my dad's sister's son. Okay. Yeah. And I grew up on my mom's side, so I know of my dad's side, family side, and a lot of their traits and our looks are from that side. My dad has strong genes, but I didn't relatively grow up with them.
Yeah.
But my cousin brother had autism.
Wow.
And nobody ever mentioned that.
Wow. Do you know how old he is?
He has to
like
be,
age
if I'm
range?
52, he has to be about 40. I will give him about 43 to 45.
Okay. And I imagine maybe back then they may not have known what it was, or do you think?
I don't know. We never had that conversation. So my aunt is a teacher. So her name is Marlene. And so I feel like if anything, Marlene probably went the distance like I did, just to make sure, because he is in programs now. He goes to day programs now. And again, nobody never had that conversation with me, and I feel like she would have came with a lot of answers had I known.
Yeah.
And me and my dad's relationship was a lot close. You know, I think I probably would have learned a lot.
Right. Yeah, I think that especially in the South, I don't know how it is up north, but we don't share things. Like, there are small things that I think I was saying this on my YouTube channel actually, but that, say for instance, I told my mom one day, I was like, Mom, I was a hair model for this salon. And she was like, oh, I did that. And then there was something else I told her. She was like, yeah, I did that. I'm like, girl, why you don't tell me these things? Because there are some we do have the same blood.
Absolutely.
And so if we shared certain things, I feel like it could prevent us from a lot of heartache in a lot of ways. But also it's like, oh,
you'll know where you got or it stemmed from.
Yeah.
Because I didn't learn that my aunt, she was a poll taker. Like, she would come in and people would come in and try to vote. And she was real big on voting. And how about, that was one of the things I actually ran for school board. I promise you. I ran for school board because I just felt like, education was a big drive for all of our students, not just the 4-H clubs or the higher achieving students. I just feel like they wasn't well rounded enough when it came to special ed kids and being able to educate the parents.
Yes, because that is much more important areas. Because a lot of parents, especially like you, for one, you were going to get it done regardless, I can tell.
I was freestyling, I'm telling you.
But still, even if you had help or not, you were going to get it done. Yeah. But some people, they need support. And the parents, they're working jobs. They're not able to leave their jobs to start an organization.
Correct.
So then they don't know what else to do. And they just kind of, unfortunately, the child just falls by the wayside. Not because that's how they want it to be. So I think that is so important, because what it sounds to me like, there needs to be a lot of communication.
And they're getting there with the family support. I think with the new platforms, as opposed to when I started, the new platforms, which in social media helps parents, like with Facebook. You got parents educating others when they go through something, they'll put it out on Facebook.
Oh, that's good.
That wasn't a platform used 30 years ago.
Right.
So, with me, I had to really do my due diligence with talking to counselors at the elementary school level and then principals and teachers to see if they have been exposed to any of this and what resources should I go to. So I went to, I think the only 2 resources that was out there was the Marcus Institute was one, and to get his diagnosis. And then they did some testing with him to see where he was. But because I was already 10 steps in front of them, they were 10 steps behind Rap. So he kind of was looking at them like, why are we going backwards still? Yeah. And then I wrote to this special education, I forgot what it was. It was some kind of special education program where they were going to get Raphael a scholarship to go to Fernbank School. I was trying to get my son into their program. It was a school over near Fernbank. Okay. And you had to get a scholarship and you had to write and say why your child was, would qualify or benefit from it.
Right.
And he was just about to get approved before I felt like it was going to be a little bit too pushy. Because when I looked at the school, I felt like my son was going to be hopping around there, and I felt like he may not be able to fit the mold.
How old was he?
Rat was like still in elementary school.
Oh, okay.
So his really maturity wasn't there. Yeah. So I didn't want them to start labeling him and stereotyping him.
Right.
And so I said, well, let me wait, and let him keep developing. Because one thing I didn't want you to do was make him feel less than, because he's not doing exactly exactly the way you would like, but he's gonna get it done, you know. But it would just take a lot more modeling, patience, and some more time, you know. So then I just got fearful and kind of backed out of it a little bit, but I made sure that he got all of that in public school, which had to make sure that my son got the education he deserved.
Yes, ma'am. Oh my goodness. So now, what about your daughter?
Miss Raven.
Miss Raven. How has because she's 2 years younger.
She is.
Okay. So she grew up. They grew up together.
They did.
Basically.
Definitely. Mm-hmm.
So how has that been for her? How have you been able to balance raising a Raphael and raising Raven, who are different, but, you know.
They're the same. Yeah. So Raphael was instrumental in that.
Really?
He knew his role. He knew he was the big brother. So you could not take his role or his responsibility. So he would look at her and be like, you gonna respect me, you know, type deal. So he let her handle him. And how Raven fit in this grand scheme, she was very, very patient. I think this brought a lot of respect, and her passion for people with disabilities is, I think, a little bit greater because she grew up in a household where we didn't treat him like there was anything wrong. We treated Raphael like he would be treated, you know, in any arena. You know what I'm saying? He was responsible for his actions. He was responsible for chores and, you know, being a kid, just being himself. But with her, it motivated her to just maintain her identity. Oh, because if anything else, we never wanted her to mimic some of the things that we're trying to educate him on. So then she turned around, and that's the grace of God. She turned around and just started being a teacher at a young age. I mean, back in this day and age, they call it bullying. But in my day, it was called redirecting. So Raven would redirect and say, no, we're doing this, you know, and it would be something crazy or bad. Like, we would have to, and I'm probably glad that he's 30 now, because we probably get locked up this day and age. I would have to run to the store, or I have to do something. And Raphael was of age, but he still had like a slight but Raven would be like 2 years younger than him. So let's say she's 11 and he is 13, right? So really they're younger than that, but I ain't finna incriminate myself. But I would run to the store and Ray would be like, okay. And girl, she'll tell him, Rap, let's go to get our skates. And they'll go skating around my house, girl. And she'll initiate. Now, he would have never thought of that. But she would do stuff like that so that she knows, if I get in trouble, then Rap get in trouble. And I know they ain't gonna do nothing to Rap. So she was smart, girl. That thing,
she got a little smart. Of that Chicago in
there, baby. What you say? So she would make him do stuff that normally, you know, he probably wouldn't have thought of. But I think that's what shaped Rap. Yeah. So now he even know when she be in a hot, he'll be like, she's a hot mess.
A hot mess.
And we be like, yes. He called me one now.
Yeah.
Girl, that freedom of speech is something serious.
I love that. You know what? I love that.
Because I've always let him have his voice.
To be like that when I was younger. And then when I think I was in college, my friend would say, Alicia, you have no tact. I'm like, why do I need tact?
Right.
Who needs tact?
Right.
Just be real out
here. Does it pay a bill? Mm-hmm. Look, does it make my neck hurt?
No,
I mean, who needs it?
Just be real.
Right. But it just made Raven a lot more helpful with people with disabilities. So she would volunteer without me even telling her.
Wow.
She had volunteered at high school I think she started in middle school with special needs. I mean, Special Olympics. Yeah. She would always make sure she was available to assist in that. Mm-hmm. And then it actually guided her to be a leader, take on some leadership roles. And she opened up a poetry group. And I was really good with motivating my kids. Whatever you want to do, you know, if it's something to help somebody else, let's do it.
Yeah.
So because they grew up in a Christian household and they were very active at their church at their level, Raven had a poetry group and she brought it to church and she would tell kids, don't fight about it, write about it. So I supported her.
Oh, I know that's right.
So they were, she said a lot of her friends in middle school were like writing suicidal notes. Wow. One little boy did kill himself because his girlfriend didn't want him no more. It was wild. Because in middle school, they too young to be old and too old to be young. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So they kind of fall in that in between. And she was hearing a lot of stuff. So to combat it, I had to still focus on her and her journey and what she was dealing with. And that just helped her, along her journey to be able to be instrumental at her level. Wow. So yeah, it was interesting. It was fun. Now that I think back on it, it kind of shaped me as a person today. But if you'd asked me, before them, I'd have been like, girl, ain't that good? Me? No, not me. I can't handle all that.
Dude, but you are. Honey, you were at that mall like, okay, girl, I got to go. Just call me Miss Dowdy. Text me. I was like, okay, I hope she responds. Yeah. And I'm so happy you did.
Yes, ma'am.
So, as far as, I guess, higher education, did you all explore that? Did they go to college?
So Raphael did explore it, and he went to Roosevelt Warm Springs.
Okay, where is that? And
it's in Warm Springs, Georgia.
Okay.
So what that is an institution that assists kids with developmental delay disabilities from all gamuts, and it puts them in it's like a college dorm type of feel. Yeah. So it teaches them how to drive. It taught them how to have a roommate, like college dorms. They had to go to common areas to kind of socialize. Yeah. And they had a cafeteria where they would go, and they had to be there at a certain time. Yeah. And it closed at a certain time. So it taught them time skills and development. It taught them how to, just from different people, not to be influenced, but you had to come with some of those qualities as well. Yeah. Now, here's the twist. With Raphael, he was, remember I told you I was always 10 steps in front. Yeah. So before my son do something for you once, he would have did it for me 200 times.
Wow.
So when Raphael went to Roosevelt Warm Springs, he drove himself.
Oh,
he was driving at 16.
He was driving.
Oh, so people was already fascinated with the fact that he was driving his sister to school. Because Raven,
you were driving her
in high school, yep. Because she was missing a bus and just lazy. And then after a while, they had changed our zone. Okay. So the school bus that used to take them, they had 2 high schools in our neighborhood, which was New Manchester and now Douglas County High School. But they said kids that were already grafted in, they could stay, but you had to be a junior or senior. And Rap was a senior, but Raven was a sophomore, and she didn't make the cut. Okay. So I just was like, I'm a single parent now. How they get into school. Right. And so I was like, I had to teach my kids how to drive. Yeah. And Rap being the oldest.
You taught them how to drive? Girl,
I taught Rap how to drive. Goodness. He was 15 going on 16 because he was going to have to get himself and his sister to and from school and work. So I was like, I'm not that parent. So you're going to walk. And it's far in the South, so we're going to have to learn how to drive. So Rap was easier to teach than Raven, actually.
In this Atlanta traffic.
No, he was in our cul-de-sac. Our first we did our subdivision because everything in their subdivision is the same thing on the street. So you got your stop signs, you got your parallel parking. If y'all had a pool area, you got to change lane. So, I taught him everything. Then we would drive little places after he got his learners. We would drive little places to the store. Yeah. Then we would drive to let's say the mall. Yeah. But I would let him get a lot of drive time with me being in the car. Right. So he just was developing very fast, and he loved being independent. So at the regular age of getting your license, I said, Rap, do you want to get your license? And it was like, yes, it was motivation for him. Yes. So he was motivated to get it. Now, I was teaching both at the same time. So Raven was all excited until it was her turn, and then she would have the regular nervousness, and she panicked. But Rap was having the same symptoms, but he didn't know how to tell me. He just kept saying, "I'm dizzy. I'm dizzy." I was like, "What does dizzy mean?" And he was like, "I don't know. I'm just dizzy." I was like, "Boy, quit being dizzy and come on." So he was like, "Okay." So then when he got good, he was good. Now. He's never had an accident, thank you, Lord, to this day. Amen. And he has been involved in some incidents where they hit him, but because of autism, they don't deviate. When you teach them something, they never change. So if yellow means slow down, you're going to slow down, because if you don't, he's going to tell you, hey, you need to slow down. Yeah. If the speed limit is 35, he's going to do 35. Yeah. They won't deviate. So that's not me, right. He is that type of driver. Yeah, that's good. So Raphael knows how to drive to Florida. He knows how to, in record time. He was driving to Virginia because we would travel out.
That's right.
In a rainstorm, I promise you.
In a rainstorm?
Yeah, but I was slow down, but like I want to get slippery.
Right?
Yeah.
I said, Rap, and I had fooled around and fell asleep and woke up. I was like, oh my God, Rap, you okay? He was like, yeah, I follow the lights. I was like, oh my God is really covering us. I'm serious. So with him, when he was going to school, they was like, every time we always be the ones to set the standard.
Yes.
So they was like, so you're saying, this the director calling me. Yeah. He has a truck on the property. I said, yes, sir. I said, Rap want to come home every weekend like most students. And he want to wash his clothes. Does it by himself. And so he was like, I said, so he's going to drive himself to and from. And they was like, okay, do anybody need to follow him? I said, no, ma'am. He said, no one has ever left our property. Once they come, they stay until they. I said, no, well, not mine. Yeah. So do y'all need a decal? Do we need to pay for some stuff? They was like, no, ma'am. They was literally following my lead, and I didn't know I was setting the standard.
Yeah.
This is just, I'm teaching my kid, how to be self-sustaining. Yeah. And didn't know I was walking in there. It was amazing. But Raphael washed his own clothes before he got there. So he was washing his clothes, going to the comments. He knew how to go to your class because he knew how to tell time. Right. I just never limited him. Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
And because of that, he a man, honey. He bank, he cook, he clean. Now cooking, he still heats up. I think that's a lot of the average person,
a lot
but
of,
as far as
men.
Yes. So he fit right in with having a wife and family.
Right.
I mean,
speaking of which, do you want to get married one day?
I will be.
See? Oh, are you dating?
Well, I did.
You did? Oh. Did y'all break up?
Well, we never break up.
No?
So tell her that you want to.
Oh, you want to.
But I want to. Right. Because we broke up because she's got acting crazy.
Maybe he did.
Size. We're done.
No, right.
Amen. Okay. So, I know that's right. You should be decisive about it, Raph.
He's very picky.
Yeah, I know that's right.
He is. Okay, so I'm not sure when this took place, but I think he's telling you, and me knowing him, I think he's telling you in future.
Oh, okay.
So currently, he doesn't, but he does look, and he does know what he like, right? And we've had that conversation because I'm always picking his brain and trying to see.
What does he like?
So he likes him. He says small skin.
Small. Oh, so skinny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He like him.
So we not gonna work out, Ralph. God, that's why he's working out.
I used to skinny. I was losing weight.
Right.
The skinny girls like them little thick, honey. We like something
like
you can't hold on to.
Oh yeah. I like skinny girls.
And then he said he like them dark skin.
Okay.
So, I said
some good melanin.
Yep, and she love muscles.
Mm-hmm. She likes to work out.
Mm-hmm. So he want his girl to like muscles because he's going to work out for her.
Amen.
So with Ralph, he is well-rounded in just different platforms. Let's say, not to sound super deep, but at church, I wanted him around more men, you know, that were doing things and good things in the community, not just all about me, myself.
Yeah.
So again, Rap set the standard there, and everybody's just so amazed how he's self-sufficient and he does what is requested and above. He goes above.
Yeah.
And at work, same thing.
Where do you work?
I work at the airport.
He worked for Unify, an agency called Unify, and they're a subsidiary for Delta.
Okay.
And because of that, they saying Rap is one of their top guys. He works 150% when he goes there. They can tell when he's absent. He knows all the police. He meets the mayor. He took a selfie with the mayor. You name it. He's met celebrities. Yeah. He has a tendency. Go ahead.
Well, you see, the last time when I saw the mayor, his name was Entry.
Okay.
Because when I took a picture with him, because when I shake his hand, we'll be friends.
Yes.
Yes. And I have my collection on this picture.
Yeah.
So he has a picture on his phone, and when something is where he can't explain it, I've always told him, take a picture. And then send it to me or show it to me. So technology played a good key role for him, for someone with a disability, because then they can actually show it to you, and then they'll get a better perspective.
That's right.
My my mind is just blown. I was not expecting any of this.
Awesome.
Yep.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. So Strides. And so it's Strides Horse Park Timms Incorporated. And Timms is Team of Employment Management Specialists.
Yes.
And so you all help people with special needs, disabilities to acquire employment.
We're doing also adult day center. So social.
What is that? What is that?
A day center is like, in hindsight, it's like a daycare.
Okay.
But it is a social environment for people with different abilities to have a safe habitat for themselves.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's like a safe haven for them to be able to have whatever their disability is.
Yeah.
They can do whatever, clap, run, in an environment where they're monitored and being able to navigate through it in a safe, manner.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I assume that you helped Raph get, or the organization helped Raph get his job.
So I had establish that before Raphael opened Strides or desired to have Strides.
Okay.
So when he started getting the things after we would talk and then we would walk it through, he then would just say stuff like, I want to help my friends. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I said, well, what friends? And he was like, people like me. He started trying to be intellectual. People like me.
Get it together, Raph.
To get a job. To get a job. Their dream job. That's what stuck out of my mind.
Okay.
Get their dream job. And I kept saying, okay. I didn't have a clue what that looked like. Again, I'm in my 20s. Yeah. When I had rap, I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
So by the time I'm in my 30s, trying to figure this out, he learning, I'm learning.
Yeah.
So he'll throw something at me. I'll figure it out. I'll do my research. I'll, see if anything is out there. Yeah. But the reason I feel like what drove it the most, and I really got away from law school, was Raphael was impacted negatively with the job arena. So because they know your kid may have a disability, then with people who are not exposed to that type of behavior, or have anybody that's close relative that have this type of behavior, they kind of are standoffish and they are not supportive. Yeah. So Rap was getting an hour every hour a week. People, he had been there at one point 2 years, and he was still getting 1 hour.
Not put him on the schedule.
But I was relentless. I would refuse to let him quit.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I said because of somebody's unlearned behavior.
Okay.
And I would go to the manager. Child, I went to the manager. I would go, but I didn't want to put no negative energy on him by me fighting for him on the back end. But at some point, you got to take the good with the ugly.
Yeah.
So I ended up talking to, I want to say at the time his manager name was Miss Renee. And she was like, they didn't really have a lot. It wasn't but so much cleaning he can do. And Brad would get through whatever they had him do. And I was like, well, put him on a grill and, try something different. And they just kept saying liability. And to me, it's
what
not
do they mean a liability?
Because a kid that's 16, you will put them on the grill.
Right.
So why would you not expose this crew member, who has the same qualities?
That's discrimination.
But you got to prove it. It's so, that's why I kept saying, you know what? You're not going to skate through life route.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? So you just got to put the work in. Yeah. And at that point, they can't deny that part.
Yeah.
So that's why I worked harder and more resilience with him because I felt like I didn't want somebody to kind of blackball him.
Yeah.
And then I started doing stuff on the side with him, like at home. Whatever I wanted him to do, I mirrored it at home. Or we did it in the community together. And it started developing some, again, that is what our agency does.
Yeah.
We go out in the community, we teach them cooking classes, we have all types of services that we offer them, from learning how to get their learner's permit to their driver's license to classes that they may want to take because somebody told them they couldn't. We start helping them shape that, you know what I'm saying? And then they got the support they need if they need somebody to help them with their homework or whatever. But as far as a job, is concerned, I just felt like because he was impacted negatively with how they viewed him and how they felt, I'm going to give you this undue support, even though I don't know how to help you. And instead of just saying that and following his lead, they just give him what they want him to have.
Yeah.
So all he would get was an hour, like that. I'm gonna help the homeless by giving him $1.
Right, like charity. Mm-hmm. No, you're not he's helping there to him. Work.
Right,
he's an employee.
So, and it's not fair to him to cut him because what you feel.
Right.
So, Rap was getting a lot of that early on, and because we started this project, this journey together, I said, what better yet than to create this environment? You know what I'm saying? I said, Rap want to help somebody. Let's just start establishing it. Right. So, our goal was to get a horse park.
Okay.
And we were literally meeting with at the time, his name was Mayor Person. He gave us our start. You know what I'm saying? He allowed us to be able to network with some of his constituents.
Yeah.
And then he started giving me idea, you know, where to go and start, you know, being around different agencies that cultivate this type of support for these individuals. And then I started writing grants, and I started writing letters to see if I can get some support and food around and got it.
Yeah.
And
not fooled around and got it.
I was thinking they ain't finna get to me, but you know, fooled around and got it. And from 2014 to now,
10 years,
we've helped over 750 people obtain jobs. We've helped families in need of resources, learn better avenues on how to get Social Security. Not that I'm an expert, I'll just give them the resources because it's, you know, at my fingertips to be able to give to them, and just to encourage them to stay in it, you know what I'm saying, and to do their due diligence so that their daughter or son can maintain a healthy and a successful life at their level.
Yep.
So the park was going to be Old West because Rap love cowboys. You know,
have you ever ridden a horse before, Rap?
Yeah, I did.
Ooh, excuse me, child. So you're a pro now.
Yep, I'm a pro.
You're going to be a cowboy one day? Is that the future for you?
Yep. You see, when I was thinking something, I learned to get another outfit. Like, you know, it's like a medieval time. Medieval time.
Yeah. Wow. You're trying to chop off heads. That's what they did back then. They chopped off heads on the horses.
Yep.
Yes. So Rap wants to open up a Wild West park to where everybody be in that theme. So you're gonna come in the Midwest, like back in the day, like the cowboy. So we have some sketches made to where you'll be able to kind of enjoy that environment and kind of not worry about the current, you know.
Yes, honey, because we tired out here.
Right.
We tired outside.
Right. We do so much innovative stuff and technology. This kind of shuts all of that out and make you have to do more of can lighting, being at bonfires and rodeos and you know, sock hops. I don't know if you know what a sock hop is. That's like a dance that kids used to go to back in the day when they were doing like I don't know what y'all call it now, but we call them sock hops. Where all the kids will come in their socks and they do like this little dances in a barn.
Okay.
So, but they used to have school sock hops where everybody would go after school. It was a big thing. It was like a party, a big party.
Wow.
So it just got people.
I don't even know if these kids dance now.
They dance, but I think everybody is doing it behind technology and not in person. Nothing is in person anymore. So I think we're missing that vibe. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Raph and I are trying to bring back is that connectivity, you know, that camaraderie, that, you know, conversation.
Yes.
So we're going to have it to where you have to eat from the barbecue grill. And, you know, so it's a big park that we're trying to do, and dirt bike ride, and then, you know, being able to stay on the property and do the Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts thing.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
We're actually developing that currently. Is when I saw you coming out the mall and I was telling you I had to go. Because I had to talk to some people about some property and go look at some more property and stuff. So
I'm about to be blowing your phone up because you're finna help me do something around here. Okay. So what was I about to ask you? I was gonna ask, what kind of organizations or employers have you all been able to work with who are really open to hiring people from your organization?
So we do entry-level companies such as McDonald's and, you know, fast food restaurants. But we have government companies that work with us from other school systems surrounding counties like Fayetteville that had relationships with the city hall agencies or city hall and their county offices. So they will let the students come in like interns almost. Okay. Just to develop a skill set on learning how to, if they wanted to do some type of office job, they would then teach them how to do paperwork or the paperwork would be something like shredding papers, making copies. Yeah. They would pass mail. Something that really has
that we all have to go through.
It's a big need inside of the office setting. Right. And now to have a dedicated person to do that, that's one less task you guys have to do. And with government documents, you can't just throw it away. You have to shred it. And it turns out to be a big thing. Yeah. So that's a whole job for, a person with this disability, and to gain an income and then to be able to have an environment conducive for him, as well as a working environment and relationship with the different people from different walks of life. So it just teaches them how to be independent in their community.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep. So those are the streams of jobs from government to just entry level.
Yeah. Oh my, this has just been such a blessing to me. And I love it so much because I believe that God has really pushed me to, one thing I've always been able to do is sort of empower people to not feel limited. And that's exactly what you do. And so I feel like a lot of Christians, sometimes we can sit back in situations like this because you don't know what to do. But I believe that God is really calling us to take the dominion that we already have. And that is something that you all are doing.
I feel like, I don't know if you ever heard of Pastor Keon Harris. What's the last name? Keon.
Is that Shawnee's?
Yes. Okay. First Lady Shawnee's husband.
Yes.
So Pastor Keon, Henderson is his last name. Henderson.
Henderson. Okay.
I follow him a lot, and one of the things that stuck with me as a young pastor, because TD Jakes is my, online pastor. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I think everybody online dad or pastor.
Exactly, yeah.
So I have grew up with TD Jakes, period.
Yeah.
Period. And Pastor Keon, he basically motivated me in the take action type of, I guess, mantra that we should do as a Christian, and stop always waiting for somebody else to do it. Because they just go ahead and take action. And again, I'm still trying to figure me out. I got a kid that don't know why he not talking, and all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying, they label him with a title that I just feel like you just giving him some type of, name. And I wouldn't believe it, and I just kept trusting God. You know what I'm saying? Throughout it all, if I didn't know nothing else, I knew to trust God, and this is where he led us.
Yeah. And do you feel fulfilled in your life as a woman?
Absolutely. I feel like without the parameters that God had placed before me, I think I would have been lost, because it's easy to be lost in myself, because I would have been an attorney. I'd have been probably an arrogant lawyer. Don't know. Remember I told you I'm from out west, so we can be rough. I probably have been terrible. I was like, hey, see, my son had to calm me down. But
I love that.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
He knows what to do for us, because I don't know if you would have been lost because you have so much drive and ambition inside of you, but maybe you still would have been just searching for next. And now it's almost like your next just keeps showing up to you, and you don't have to go out and find it.
No, and it's like the scripture where they had the spider will have a spider web, and instead of you going out to get the flies, the flies will come to you.
Yep.
So, and I think that's something, and I did cut that off.
It's okay.
And I felt like that's what God was telling us. I know what's in you, and I know what you can draw to you if you just trust me.
Yeah.
And even when you don't know the process, you just have to trust God, and he'll see you through it. Yeah. That's all I can say as motivation to any parent, or just any person just trying to find out who they are. They find their identity.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Can I tell you, every single guest on this podcast that I've had, which I've only been doing shooting for the last 3 weeks.
Nice.
Every single one has mentioned identity.
Oh, wow.
And feeling a pull out of their comfort zone by God.
Yes, ma'am.
And I believe, too, that something that I'm doing with this podcast is reminding people of their identity in Christ and reminding them of their dominion, which is given to us through Christ. We wouldn't have it if it wasn't for him. Correct. So I'm really happy that you said that, because every single person has said that. And I haven't asked it. I don't even remember until you say it. But every single person has mentioned something. I think
God have his little silhouette to let you know you're on the right track when he says something more than one time. I think that's just his confirmation for you to know. Just keep doing it, even when it just doesn't look like it's going in your make me cry. Right. That's a blessing, because again, a lot of people get to be of age and still don't know who they are. So you want to be thankful and humble when you get his attention, you know what I'm saying, and be able to start talking to his kids, you know what I'm saying, his people. I promise you.
Now, what you're not going to do is have me crying on my own podcast.
Yay. I had an effect. You be the 53rd person. I used to be like, don't do that. I wear makeup. Now all of a sudden I just like, hey, it's just part of the process.
No makeup.
Yes.
Oh God. Yeah. Because I have needed that reminder. So.
Yes. Just stay faithful and stay focused, and you'll get to wherever he's leading you to if you just trust it.
Yeah.
When you don't even have all the pieces, you just got to trust it, because you be like, nah, I ain't gonna be. But if you could do it, then you wouldn't need him. So he wants to show you the big gap, so that you would then say, Lord, if you want me to do it. So now he hearing you.
Yeah.
Okay, I want you to do it. And then you will say, it was no way I could have made that jump, that leap, if it wasn't for the Lord that was on my side. It'll keep you humble, I promise you.
Oh, tell me about it, honey. If you had seen this house a few weeks ago, it was a mess. Just because I did have my own idea of what this was going to be. And then I was like, of course, then the enemy will try to make you start questioning, well, did he actually say? And so I had to just kind of take a moment and be like, Alesha, if he gave it to you, he's going to see it through.
He's going to provide. Whatever God guides, he provides.
Amen.
I promise you, I never would have made it.
Yeah.
And my son is a 6-figure income. Come on. Oh, my Lord. I mean, never would have made it if it wasn't for the Lord. And that's not bragging on me. It's just bragging on God.
Yeah.
Because I promise you, we all have the same doubts, the fears. Yeah. But if I can tell him to trust God and face his fears with the church that we're at now, Word of Faith, he just run right into it. His next chapter, which is being around strong men, men that are getting out in the community and making a difference. You know what I'm saying? Like him. So you have to be around like-minded people, or else you'll lose your identity. Yeah. So keep growing.
Yes, ma'am.
And congratulations on your podcast.
Oh, well, thank you.
And thank you for having us.
I'm so happy you all came.
Oh, yeah.
So I have a little segment. It's called Testify.
Okay.
It's 2 questions. First question
Lord.
is not on the script.
Not on the script. Oh, Lord. I told you I'll be winging it.
No, okay. Listen, it's okay. First question is, how has God been good to you most recently?
So
not recently. No. Opposite.
Okay.
That's not the first question. That's the second question. First question is, what are you believing God for right now?
Just big things, you know, and not let me wind my way out of it.
Yeah.
And not about what I want, but what he wants me to do as far as the big things. We're actually the 100 acres that we're trying to purchase.
100 acres.
Because we're having people that the need is they need residence.
Okay.
So not only am I teaching them and inspire them to become independent, so what does that look like in terms of my living arrangements? So I have been challenged to be able to, foster some connections, you know what I'm saying? Partner with big people, big name people that can help support this project with us so that our individuals can live independently as well. So condos such as this is what we're building.
Wow.
And they'll have roommates similar to Roosevelt Warm Springs.
Yeah.
So it's life without limits, life without walls.
That is what I call dominion. Honey.
Right. And giving them the environment where they can still have the adult day center. They can come and get educated and, at their level and get some type of social gathering and, the connectivity of having, a community.
Yeah.
That's shaped for them.
Yep.
So then we wanted like a little lake so they can have a little trail to walk and trail and, turn this into a big community for individuals with disabilities.
Right.
I'm going to gate it too.
Yes.
I'm gating that more
You
up.
should gate it.
And then we have agencies that would like to partner like urgent cares inside of it so they don't have to go far.
Inside.
Inside. I'm going to have like a little strip area where they can have a little store, a little corner store, because what if they don't want to go outside the community so they can have some hands-on stuff there.
Girl. Oh, my Lord.
I feel like that's going to be my testimony.
Yeah.
And my legacy that Raphael and I leave to make this world just a little bit better.
Right. Raph, do you have anything you would like to say as far as what you're believing God for?
When I believe in a God, because the God says I want to help this world.
Yes, Lord.
Because I just want to help those clients to learn the job interview. And that's why they need to train to get smart.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, and to get their jobs.
Yeah. Amen. Yeah.
And that's why because I'll do everything just like Martin Luther King Jr. and John Lewis.
Yes.
He loves to read.
Guys, I love those two.
Do you?
Yeah.
Wow. I love
How old was, when was John Lewis born?
He was born as he was born in 1940. And his birthday was February 1st.
First, wow. Oh my goodness.
Yep. Awesome.
So I know you were probably hurt when he passed, huh?
Yeah, he's been over 70 years.
Yeah, he did.
So, my mom seen on TV.
Yeah. Yeah, I think one of my cousins actually, well, not John Lewis, he works with Martin Luther King Jr.'s estate. One of my cousins here, yeah.
We take our clients out there, like when we take them to different activities, we take them from Alabama to go learn how to shop and buy their family member stuff so that they can always not be cared for, but be caring for others.
Exactly.
We take them to Tennessee Aquarium. We've taken them to Lookout Mountain. We take them to Six Flags. You name it, we go. We go to Fern Bank. We go everywhere.
Yeah.
That's what I did with my son.
Exactly.
And I just wanted to expose those kids, you know what I'm saying, to just different things, and different experiences that they can just call it own, as they start to develop and stop being afraid to just be with people, outside of their family.
Okay, so now my second question, which was the first one, I should have said.
Right.
How has God been good to you most recently?
So he has actually connected me with some partners that are going to partner with me in the transit, like the transportation arena. I've fooled around and got another contract with.
Look at you!
I know.
Just stumbling around, being blessed.
And that's how the Lord will do you. Is so that when you say, how did you get this? You cannot say it was me. If it wasn't for the Lord, I would have not been connected to this person. So I ended up getting connected with some people that that worked at my previous agency, which is MARTA. That's going to partner with me with transportation and the project. Supposedly, if we get this particular project, it'll come with I think it's like $250,000. But then the main goal. Oh, I'm sorry if
It's okay.
My main goal was to just be able to get the extra money to put down on our property, right?
Yeah.
But then we started getting an influx in clients, which boost our revenue up in a week. So I just in a week. So every week, I think we were making like 5 figures every week. And then that was 2. That was the second blessing. Now all of this happened from January to now.
Oh my goodness. He ain't been playing this year.
They said that in order for me to be able to get the main contract, that for transportation that my goal I was going after, that I had to have 2 mobility buses. Those buses alone are like $250,000 or better, you know, and it's being donated to me.
The 2 buses
The 2 bus, not 1, 2, just so that I could get into the arena to get the actual contract, which is $5 million contract. So I just was like, no way.
My Lord.
I was like, I can't make this stuff up if I wanted to. And people think you being, you know, such a much, I should say. I don't want to say arrogant. When you start talking about your testimony, people start looking back at you like, she thinks y'all at no. Because if he did it for me, I swear he'll do it for you.
And he will, is the thing. It might not look exactly like mine, but it's sure going to look real good to you.
Because he wants to know if I can trust you enough to give it to you to give out, not to keep.
Yeah.
And he know I'm constantly giving. I mean, I'm going to get mine, but I could have been a lawyer and been fine doing my own thing. Yep. But it's something bigger and greater when you can assist somebody else and help them in their need, and then God turn around and give you yours.
Amen.
That right there is you just be like, Lord, but you know, I'm not nice. I'm not that, you know, good. Yeah. Give it to one of these good people, you know. Please. But he be like, I know what I'm doing. Yeah. You know. Mm-hmm. So that was my blessing and my takeaway is that he's going to keep providing. Yeah. And he's going to keep blessing you. Even if you don't know how he going to do it. He going to connect you to somebody that's going to do it for you. Yeah. So.
Raph, would you like to answer that question? How has God been good to you most recently?
Well, the God has grieved me because what the God says, you only take courage. Learn your spirits, live your dreams. Yes. To learn to make everyone happy.
Yeah. That's so good.
Everybody will get freedom.
Amen. So tell me, how can people learn and support? Where can they go?
So they can go to www.strideshorsepark.org.
Okay.
And that is our website. You can literally go online and donate. Or you can actually comment. I definitely want people to like and share our website. Because we would like more people to know what we're doing, right? So that if they are connected, that they can kind of, you know, reach out to us and, you know, help us to become a better us. Yeah, you know, helping the citizens in our community.
So good. This was awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome.
And I have just one more thing that we used to do in my old missionary Baptist church when I was
We
did a benediction. We did a benediction.
Amen.
Okay, so this is a benediction. May the Lord watch between me and thee while we are absent one from another. Amen.
I come from a Pentecostal background. Amen. Thank you for having us.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Raph.
You're welcome.
Did you have a good time?
Yep.
I'm going to have y'all back. And I'm going to come visit y'all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
That was good.
Very good. I really appreciate you for listening. And I'd like to ask a favor of you. If you enjoyed this episode, please share with your friends and family, rate, and leave a thoughtful review. This helps others to more easily find the podcast and get their cups filled too. You can email us at youaintgottabebroke@gmail.com or follow along on Instagram at the handle youaintgottabebroke. Until we meet again, have a beautiful week.